This is my trade recap video for trade 100 to trade 200, so my second batch of 100 trades. My first batch of 100 trades took me about a year, and this batch of 100 trades took me from November 20th, 2018 to May 19th, 2019, so about 6 months. That's significant to me because I think one major issue I was struggling with before was I was feeling afraid to even put on a trade. And as I started to force myself to take a trade a day with small size, I think I've become a lot more comfortable putting my money at risk when I feel like I have an edge. So even though taking more trades doesn't mean that I've become more profitable or become more consistently profitable or made more money, I feel like it's a significant step in the right direction for me because I've become much more comfortable taking trades, and I feel like that was one of my big weaknesses before. In terms of the actual stats of my last 100 trades, I made $6.48. My win rate was 67%. I lost 23% of the time, and I broke even 10% of the time. And I think that scratch trades includes like 1 cent profits or 1 cent losses. I think because my win-loss ratio overall, including these scratch trades, is 74.4% win rate and 25.6% losing rate. And so overall, my expectation is positive. So for every trade I take, my expected return on that trade is 6 cents. I was normally going for 10 cents as a scalp, and sometimes held for 20, 30, 40 cents. So every trade that I take does have a positive expectancy, which is a good sign. And for making 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 cents per trade, usually 10 cents on a scalp, $6.48, it's a really small number, but considering the size of each winning trade for me, I'm pretty happy with that. And this is what my cumulative P&L looks like. So here we had a really good start, and then took a couple of really big losses, and that happens to me often. I get a good run going and then take a couple big losses, and then a really good run, then take a couple big losses. And it happened again here over the last 2 months. If you've been watching, you've probably noticed that I've been struggling a bit for the last couple months, and it's just following the same pattern, just getting consistent and then having a month or two of bad trades. I think I've started to notice that this happens when I trade, and I think a lot of it has to do with, one is overconfidence, but another big factor, I think probably the main factor, is that as I learn more, I experiment more. So I might become consistent because I'm doing things that I'm comfortable with, and then as I learn something new or I learn some small nuances in what I used to do, I'll start trying new things, and that will often lead to a drop when I start to experiment with trades I'm not comfortable with. So as long as the trend is up, the overall trend is up, I think it's okay. And I don't want to stop experimenting. I don't want to stop doing things that I'm not comfortable with, because I feel like I've learned so much from making mistakes that, and those mistakes come from doing things that I'm not comfortable with, and I don't want to stop that. So as long as the trend is up, and actually it shouldn't even be about this trend being up. I think the most important thing is that as long as my progress curve is up in terms of how much I'm learning, I think that's the most important thing. And obviously it's a bonus if the profit curve is up. So I think these stats are important to me because these past couple months have been really tough for me, both in terms of trading consistency and also my confidence, because it seemed like a lot of setups I thought would work out did the complete opposite. I was sometimes buying right at the top and selling right at the bottom. And what this showed me is that you're allowed to make mistakes. Like, you never have to be perfect to be profitable. You can make mistakes, you can make really big mistakes. You can take trades that you should never be in. you can exit at the exact wrong time for some trades. As long as overall you're getting a little bit better and doing the right thing most of the time, it can still work out. And for me, like, it's been a really tough couple months, and still I ended up with $6.48 in profit overall over the 100 trades. So that's a sign. It's just a boost of confidence that it reassures me that it's really okay to be making mistakes, and that you can still be profitable even if you make a lot of mistakes and feel like you have a lot to improve on. So moving forward, I'm going to take another batch of 100 trades, but for these next 100, I'm going to increase my size a little bit, and I'm going to trade on a spectrum from 1 share to 10 shares. The main reason for that is over the last 100 trades, I was trading about 1 or 2 shares per trade, and when the bars are small, between 10 and 20 cents, I'm risking about 10 or 20 cents, sometimes 30 or 40. But if the bars are big, my risk can get up to 90 cents or more. And so because I can't go any less than trading 1 share, I was stuck risking a lot more than I'm comfortable with on days when the bars are big. So by trading on a spectrum of 1 to 10 shares, if the bars are small, I can trade bigger, and if the bars are big, I can trade smaller. And that way I can keep my risk consistent, and I don't have to feel like I'm forced to risk a lot more than I am on other trades just because the bars are bigger. And another reason I want to be on the spectrum is because I want to trade a little bit bigger when I'm really confident in a trade, and maybe trade smaller when I'm experimenting. And that will allow me to take a lot more trades, because a lot of times if I already had a winning trade for the day, or if I already took a trade for the day, I didn't want to lose those gains, so I didn't experiment with other trades that I saw for the rest of the day. But this way, if I make $1 on 10 shares, scalping for 10 cents, then I see another trade later in the day, I can experiment with 1 share and not worry about losing the gains from earlier in the day, and still being able to experiment and try new things. So that's the plan for the next 100 trades, and I'm hoping to continue to make progress.